going on, guys? It's Roger, Working Man Cigars. Thank you for joining me today. I'm actually going to be shooting my video for the best cigars smoked in 2023, and it's going to be exactly that, right? Exactly how it sounds is how I'm going to do it. I actually shot this video already once, and I shot it inside. It was cool. My mic wasn't connected half the time. I don't know why. So now I'm making sure I see the little lines moving back and forth, so I know that it's recording the sound, because it's a stupid video. But anyways, the good thing about being out here is I could smoke a cigar. So I'm gonna end up smoking a cigar, luckily. So I was self-conscious about making my list because I watch a lot of these lists. To me, these lists are fun, which is why I wanted to make one, is because I enjoy watching these lists. I remember watching these lists last year and the year before when I barely got into it, because when you're a new smoker, you think, oh, what cigar should I smoke? You know, for those of you that are more experienced and have been smoking for a while, you look at the list more of like to judge it compared to what you like, to what you think, right? That's what I do anyways. It's like, this guy like that, I don't really like that cigar. Damn, this guy thought that was his top 3, and that would not have been my top 3. So to me, these videos are fun for that reason. But when I remember being a newer smoker, I remember looking at those lists and like taking notes and like, okay, that cigar, okay, that cigar. And that's why I appreciate people like Master Ash and Cigar Alchemist, who do their lists based off like categories. They do it based off like price wise. This is the best list. This is the best one around this price range. This is like the honorable mention. This is like the ones that, you know, the average smokes. This is, you know, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember what they're called, but that's kind of how they did their video. And the people that do it like that, also people that say for it to make the list, I have to smoke it at least, I have to smoke the cigar at least 3 to 5 times. I have to do this and that. It has to be released in 2023. To me, that's cool. It's like, man, they're doing right for people who are trying to look at these lists more as a guide. Whereas I look at these lists more as fun. So that's kind of how I'm going to shoot my video. You know, kind of like Smoke One. If you have one, he just made a list of his best cigars. That's cool too, because then I could look at his list and be like, that's a good list. Or I could look at Peter's list and say, that's a horrible list. So, Peter, Cigar Collective. So, so my list is not a guide for anybody, okay? I want to make that clear. This is not a guide for people to be like, any cigar that I have on here, I'm not recommending you guys go buy these cigars, because a lot of these cigars I will not buy again, right? And I was talking to some of the people in the Legion, and they're like, then that can't be on your list if you won't buy it again. And it's like, well, my counter to that is that I loved it a lot and I really enjoyed it, but I don't want to spend the money on it again, because to me the experience was great. The smoking experience was great. The cigar was great. Good enough to smoke it again and again. Some of these 6 sticks are 65, 100 bucks. It's not, even though it was one of my, like, even though it was really good, I can't afford it. So like, that's what's going to be, you know, that's why some of these cigars I would not buy again, because I can't afford to keep smoking cigars like this. And so that's why, right? My list is not a guide for people, go buy this cigar, because I don't want any of you spending, you know, expensive amount of, a good amount of money on a cigar that I said was going to be number 1 or number 2, and then you do not like it, right? It does not fit your palate. And then it's a waste of money for you. That's what I'm saying. My list is for fun, to compare, to be like, look at this dude's bougie ass list, because that's how I feel. I feel kind of self-conscious about putting out my list. But I'm just, the way I'm doing it is, these are the best cigars I smoked all year. These are the ones that I remember the most. And I have a horrible memory. I have a horrible memory. So these are the ones that I remember. Okay, so that's why I'm putting them on the list. Some of these, and then I'm going to have honorable mentions. And these honorable mentions are going to be cigars that I smoked often, but that if I had a regular list, these would be on it. Like if I had a list that I'm recommending to people, these would be on the list. The honorable mentions are kind of like that. So first of all, right, the one I'm going to smoke today, and you guys have heard me talk about this cigar. This is the My Father, the Judge. Look at this beautiful stick. Look at this thing. Damn, man. All of My Father looks freaking legit. I think it got a little bit too dried out. I had it in my dry box for a little bit too long, and the bands are fucking they're dancing around too much. Look, this one wants to take it off. Look at. So the My Father, the Judge, right? This is one of the cigars I have smoked a few amount of times. Like I've actually smoked this cigar maybe like 5 or 6 times, which for me, this is another reason why I don't have a consistent list of like smoking it at least a few times. It's because in the worry of sounding kind of douchey or something, or I don't want to say I don't smoke the same stuff over and over again because I have a lot of cigars. But it is something like that, right? It's like I've been given a lot of cigars by a lot of friends, and they ask me to review stuff, and it's like, cool, man, like, let me get to that cigar. So whenever I'm still new to the cigar, to the cigar hobby. So to me, the new stuff is so much fun. Like, that's why I'm still subscribed to membership packs, because I like the mystery. I like the if I know I'm gonna like a cigar, but there's another one that potentially I might like more, I'm gonna always want to try the new thing. And I think that's more of a new smoker thing. You know, I think once you've been smoking for a while, you kind of tried a lot of stuff, you kind of know what you like and you stick to that. But I'm still in the stage of trying a lot of things, so that's why I don't smoke a lot of cigars repetitively. Some of the few are the ones that I am going to mention are because I smoked them a lot in the beginning. So this one, My Father the Judge, I've smoked it like I said 5 or 6 times, which is a lot for me smoking the same cigar. And I don't think I've ever had a bad one. To me, this is such a good cigar, guys, and it's not an expensive cigar. I think in the My Father line, it is a little bit on the pricier side. I'm trying to think how much these cost, because MSRP, or how much these are MSRP, because here locally at my B&Ms, they are a little bit pricier. Like I think this would be like $23 or something. When I think a Judge like this, I think this one is probably like a $14, $15 stick. But at my B&Ms, they are expensive. So Matt Cigar Hound Dog has a saying. He has a saying for a really good cigar, and he calls it a crescendo cigar, right? Which is a cigar that gets better. I don't know if it starts off bad and gets better. I don't know if that's a crescendo cigar. I think it has to start off good and get better. But for me, this cigar has always been a crescendo cigar. So for me, this cigar has always been a crescendo cigar. It starts off good, and then it just gets better and better. Even in the last third, it's a super enjoyable cigar. So one that I can recommend that is on my list, was more as an honorable mention, is the My Father the Judge. Man, I get no pepper from this cigar. And every time I light it up, I'm like, man, am I going to get like this different thing? Am I going to... And it's always got the same kind of like consistent, sweeter, kind of smooth retrohale for me, which I've heard people say this is a little bit of a punchier cigar. For me, it never has been. And it's, man, the first draw, just, this cigar is a fucking good cigar, guys. Man, this one was one of the, this one gives me like a, so for being a darker cigar, I get like a very light sweetness to it. Not like the marshmallow sweetness, not like the molasses sweetness that I always talk about. This is more of like that dried fruit kind of sweetness that I get from this cigar. Very good cigar. So again, My Father the Judge, you guys, most of you guys have smoked it. Continue to smoke it, because this is a badass cigar. Next honorable mention. This one's kind of iffy, and I'll tell you why. Because this cigar, I smoked it, the first one I ever smoked, I bought it for like almost 40 bucks at a B&M here. And the guy straight up told me, I don't sell Liga Privadas, but I buy it at MSRP and I mark it up to sell it here. So I was like, okay. So I bought it for a lot. But that's the Liga Privada H99. Now this, I'll do close-ups of the cigars that I do have. Damn, I'm smoking the Judge, so I'm not going to be able to do that but on that one. But, oh well, I mean, it is what it is. But the first H99 that I ever smoked, I freaking fell in love with this cigar. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was super nice quality, really good burn. Like, everything on this cigar was great. I remember thinking, this, no wonder Liga Privadas are that sought after, because this is a super good cigar. So I went instantly, which I could have sworn they were harder to get. Now I feel like I can get them a lot, but I could have sworn that I could not find this cigar before. So I was looking for it, and I bought a 4-pack off of a website that charges me California taxes, and I paid a nut for it. But man, I still wanted it so bad. Then I smoked it. Here's the thing, maybe this shouldn't be on my honorable mentions, because maybe that would be more like on my regular list, because I only smoked that cigar twice last year. And the first time was magical, the second time was not that good. And it was stronger and had more pepper than I remembered. The first one I had though, because nobody's buying those fucking cigars from that B&M, I think they might have been there for a long time, and maybe it was aged, and maybe, that's the thing with cigars too, you guys, like, I don't want to say the lower end cigars, but the more affordable cigars, I do think the consistency isn't going to be there. I think that's a trait of more expensive cigars. So you can get certain cigars and love them, but if you buy them again a year later or a few months later from a different box and a different batch, I do think they're going to be different, because they are organic products. I've talked about this before. You can't expect it to taste exactly the same, because even though the blend is the same, the tobacco leaf is different from, this leaf is going to be different from that one, right? But I'm just saying. The H99 was a cigar that I really enjoyed. So that's one that I have to put on my list, is like, these ones are going to be cigars that I think I can recommend. So like, if you haven't tried them, I recommend you trying them, right? My Father the Judge, and then the Liga Privada H99. Next, this is another cigar. I only smoked a handful of times, but I still smoked it enough to know that I've always enjoyed them. And that is the Dumbarton and Trust Todos los Días. Look at this beautiful cigar, man. Look at this thing. I freaking love this cigar. I love looking at this cigar. When I see it, it's like, hell yeah. Because these are actually pretty hard to get now. They are discontinued, I believe. I heard Saka talking on a podcast that they are not going to be making these anymore, because he can't get that leaf anymore. So, or that leaf is now being used for something bigger that's, I mean, obviously probably making him more money. So he doesn't see this ever coming back in the foreseeable future. And if it ever did come back, I don't think you'd get the same thing. I don't think it'd be the same thing that that we have been getting, right? So who knows? But if you do see these around somewhere, I do know that there is some thick Lonsdales floating around, which I think is this size. I say try them, because they are really good cigars, guys. I freaking love the Todos los Días. See, I was about to say Todos los Días like everybody else. All right, and now I'll get into my list, right? These are not going to be kind of numbered between best and worst, and I don't have all of these cigars, so I'm just kind of gonna go off them, right? So this is a cigar that's a little bit more attainable. So this is a cigar that's very attainable, so I am happy to be putting this on my list. But I smoked this cigar, actually I've never smoked a Toro, and this is a Toro. That's the Plasencia Alma de Fuego. I have smoked the Lancero, and I smoked the Robusto in the same time, like if you guys saw that video. And they were both good, man. I freaking loved both of them. I could have been smoking one or the other, and I would have been completely happy. But at the time, I did enjoy the Robusto more. So then, just to make sure, I had ordered another Robusto, and I bought a few of these. I think I bought like 2 Toros and like 2 Robustos, and I smoked another Robusto, and I really enjoyed it. And that was a very good cigar. And I smoked that outside by myself, and it was such a good day, and I really liked it. So the Plasencia Alma de Fuego is a cigar that I'm happy to put on my list. Next, this is not the cigar, right? This is a God of Fire Carlitos. I've never smoked this cigar. I thought it was a Don Carlos till I grabbed it, and I'm like, fuck, this is not a Don Carlos. I thought I had a Don Carlos, but I don't. So this here is the God of Fire Carlito, right? So this is the God of Fire Carlito, but pretend it says, instead of Carlito, pretend it says Don Carlos. Okay, pretend it says God of Fire Don Carlos. Don't look at the Itos part. All right, it looks exactly the same, just like this. So the Don Carlos God of Fire, I've heard this one's good. I've heard the other ones are good. I've heard they're all good. So I just haven't had a chance to try them. But the Don Carlos, I have smoked that cigar 3 times. And I freaking really like that cigar. The first time I smoked it, I was in Vegas with my wife, and we were able to kind of like sneak off for a tiny bit, and I was smoking and relaxing, and it was like such a good cigar. But I remember thinking, is this cigar that good, or is it just because like I hadn't had a cigar in 3 days because in Vegas I wasn't able to smoke and like with my kids. So when I got a chance to, I did. And I was like thinking, is this just me really enjoying a cigar because I haven't smoked it in a while? But no, it was a really good cigar. I smoked it again afterwards, right? I smoked it at a lounge and I smoked it with the humidity a little bit too high and it was still a good cigar. So that went well. Then I went ahead and I smoked it one more time at, I ordered a few of them and I smoked one more time at home. And it was a really good cigar and I enjoyed it. It was just like I remembered. It's got that, it's a Cameroon wrapper, so it's a very good cigar. It's got that Cameroon type of sweetness, but it also had a little bit of punchiness to it. And no pepper for me that I can remember, almost nothing. But I remember really just enjoying that cigar. Just the flavors of that cigar were so good. I can't describe them to you. I'm not going to make it up because I don't remember what it was. But whatever it was, I'm assuming it was sweet because all I can remember is it was a little bit of a sweeter cigar. And then any other note, I can't remember. But I remember really liking it. So the tasty note was good, right? So that cigar, I can recommend it. And it is a little bit of a pricier stick. I don't know how much the Plasencia... See, you guys, my videos suck, man. I don't know the prices. I know people give the MSRP prices and all that stuff and tell you guys, I don't know how much they cost, man. I'm sorry. I didn't do my homework on this shit. But I've already shot this video once and I don't know. I'm being lazy. I shouldn't make excuses. Work is hectic for me right now. So, like, I shouldn't make excuses. I'm just lazy, guys. I'm sorry. But the Plasencia Alma de Fuego is like in the $20 range around there. No, actually, I think it's like in the $16, $17 range. Man, I'm sorry. Go check it out, please. It's super. You can buy them like nothing. So, Plasencia Alma de Fuego and the Don Carlos God of Fire. I do think they're not as easy to buy, but they have their seasons. Like a lot of these cigars, I used to hear people say, oh, the rare pinks are going to be coming out because this is the season they come out. This is the time of the year they come out. And I used to think that's fucking ridiculous. Like how I see them all year long, but it's hard to see them, right? It's hard to catch them. But certain times of the year, they pop up a lot. And that's when I realized, okay, this is like, I guess it's true. And the God of Fires, I don't know why I don't see them at all, or they're sold out, and then out of nowhere they pop up and they're around a lot of places. So I think they come out certain times and then they start to kind of dwindle down until they come back out. So I would say Don Carlos, God of Fire Don Carlos, if you can find it, I think it's in the mid $20 range. I recommend buying it because it's a really good cigar. I really enjoyed that cigar, you guys. So here's another cigar that I really, really enjoyed. Now this one, I will say, it is size dependent for me. For me, it is size dependent, okay? I've smoked this cigar 3 times. Not this very Vitola. And the one that I really, really liked, I don't know if it was this size, to be honest. I don't think it was this one. That's the thing with Atabey that I don't like. They don't put anything on their cigars. So they expect you to just know the fucking names. Ritos, Místicos, whatever. I don't like that, man. I freaking don't like that. Because I don't know which one it is. But I know this one is like the age 10 years like limited one. No, wait, that's a different one. See, I have one that's like super big and it's like the aged 10 years something. And then there's another one that's just a regular, or maybe this is the age 10 years. I wouldn't know because it doesn't freaking say. But this is the Atabey. And the reason I brought this one out is because this is one of the ones that I have. And it is the bigger size here. The reason I'm bringing out the bigger size is because the first time I ever smoked this cigar was one of these big ones. I found this in Santa Monica. I had always heard about Atabey. It was super expensive, and it was like 50 bucks or 40 something dollars. And I remember for me, like that at the time, that was crazy. The only time I ever spent that before was for an Opus Angel Share. So I was really like debating whether I wanted to spend that much on this cigar. But I did. I smoked it, really liked it, really enjoyed it, did not finish it. Could not finish it, right? Because it was too big. So then when I wanted to buy them again, I bought the smaller size, a shorter, and I even think the ring gauge was a little bit smaller. And I bought one because I thought, cool, you know, a small one would be fine, but I really like that. I want to smoke that cigar again. Got that cigar, let it rest, smoked it in the comfort of my home where I enjoy smoking. This is during the year last year before it was super hot. And it was nice and still cool, but not too, it was nice and warm, but not too cold. I remember sitting outside in my old spot in front of my house in my little outdoor furniture, kicking my feet up, gonna watch a movie, lit up that cigar, and it sucked, man. I was so down. My wife was like, that cigar smells bad. I'm like, it does smell bad, and it tastes bad. And like, when I washed my hands and you smell, you could still smell it. It was so pungent. It was not a good experience, and I was so let down by that. I was so bummed about that. I was like, damn, I can't believe this shit happened. Like, I can't believe I got a cigar that I thought it was good. I spent so much money on this Atabey, and it still sucked, and it wasn't good. Like, I was so let down. So I attributed it to a fluke. I thought, okay, I must have really enjoyed the cigar smoking experience the first time because I was in Santa Monica. We were at the beach, and I got a chance to smoke at my hotel. So I thought Atabey wasn't for me. I think it was just a fluke. But then I signed up for Luxury Cigar Club, which, if you guys don't know, I love Luxury Cigar Club. You would think that I'm sponsored or something because I talk about them so much and I always say nothing but good things about them, but that's because I truly do enjoy that service. And they sent me an Atabey, right? They sent an Atabey in one of the packs that I got. And I remember thought, okay, cool, Atabey, like, I guess, and it was one of the bigger sized ones. And I thought, cool, I guess I can revisit the cigar. I already know I'm not gonna like it that much, but whatever. I smoked it and it freaking blew me away, man. Like, the first time I smoked it, I still wasn't ready. Right, like I didn't finish it. The second time I smoked it, the third time that I smoked it, I was definitely more of a seasoned smoker compared to the first two times that I smoked it, or the first time that I smoked it, más bien. And I really was appreciating that cigar. I nubbed that cigar so bad. I actually did feel kind of sick from the nicotine. And I remember getting up, eating some candy, drinking some soda, and then sitting down, like watching a movie. And like, I took forever to smoke that cigar, but I relit it, kept letting it die out, kept relighting it because I really wanted to kill it all the way down, and I did. And I nubbed that cigar, and I enjoyed the heck out of it, and it was great. So that's when I thought, okay, I like Atabey again. I think the size, that's another sign that told me about the size, you know? Okay, so then, it stinks in here, guys, goddamn. I'm about to turn that thing off. So then, next cigar. Dude, this is gonna be a freaking long ass video, you guys. Like, damn, man. I had mentioned in another video this is gonna be a short video, and somebody in the comments was like, when you said it, I laughed. I'm like, me too, bro. I never believe it. When I say it, I don't believe it. So, okay, next cigar. This one is one that I smoked recently, and I freaking loved this cigar, man. And that is the Rare Pink Queen of Hearts. Look at this thing. Look at this beautiful cigar. Look at this pig. I love pigs now. I think all pigs are good. Even though I've only smoked one, in my mind, all pigs are good now because of that. So I freaking loved this cigar. I fell in love with the cigar. I smoked it twice now in the last like month, which is strange for me. I actually did a review on one of those that I smoked, but I freaking loved that cigar, man. Very sweet, very like dried fruit, a little bit. Then it transitions into like a marshmallow sweetness. Then you get a little bit of pepper spice, and you get a smooth retro. Again, I don't have a lot of tasty notes, but whatever that note is, it is freaking good, you guys. I loved it. So I know the Rare Pink gets a lot of hate because it's expensive, not MSRP expensive. MSRP, those six are not that bad. It's expensive in like what you pay for it at a markup. So if you can find them at MSRP, I say try them because I do think that they are very good cigars. They still are kind of pricey, so don't buy them if you don't think it's gonna be your thing. But yeah, okay, so there's that, right? That cigar was freaking killer cigar. I love that cigar, and it's a cigar that I know I'm gonna want to smoke plenty of times. It's a lighter cigar. Some of these cigars are darker, like Todos los Días. Even though it's a smooth cigar, this cigar, this cigar smells like a light cigar, actually, this Judge. But this is still like a little bit of a darker cigar. The Rare Pink is also like a darker, sweeter cigar, like a little bit on the lighter side for me. All right, next cigar. I don't have that cigar, so I'm just gonna have to put in a little clip, and that is the Opus X Angel Share. It's a killer cigar, guys. I freaking loved that cigar. That cigar was a very light cigar. Started off sweet, ended off a little bit on a darker note, like a little bit more. It transitioned from like for me, it transitioned from like a marshmallow sweetness to that like crispy, like a charred marshmallow sweetness, to molasses, to like very good tasting, just exactly my profile. Like, it was good. It was really good. I love the Angel Share. I smoked it twice. The first time I smoked it, the draw was so bad that I couldn't smoke it. Had to toss it. But the flavors, the whole time I smoked it, and it was such a good cigar, you guys. Like, I remember thinking, fuck, man, I wish I could have smoked that cigar. But the draw made it impossible. Besides that, right, like, I'm talking about, like, enjoyable cigars. That is one of them that was a killer great cigar. Now, the Rare Pink, the Angel Share, none of these, like, starting from the Rare Pink and, like, the Angel Share, I don't really think those are in order, right? Because it's hard for me to choose which ones I like the most. I do think my top one is my one for sure. But, like, my 3, my 2, my 4, all those kind of juggle around, including the Rare Pink and like that, right? But, so, I don't have this cigar either. I smoked it already, but I am going to be, I did shoot an overview, so I will be putting that out. But the next cigar that that was a most memorable cigar for me, that's probably what I'll call this thing, most memorable cigars. And that's going to be the Muestra de Saca, the Blue Unicorn. Man, this cigar, when the overview comes out, you'll see, I freaking love this cigar. This was such a good cigar. This is the cigar that I'm saying I won't buy again. Not because I didn't love it, but like I didn't, to me, paying that much is just not doable, right? But I could smoke this cigar over and over again, and I know that I'm going to love it. I love the Brulee as it is. The Brulee is one of my favorite cigars. I probably should have had it in my honorable mentions, but I didn't. But the Brulee is such a good cigar. So this Blue Unicorn to me was freaking amazing. Peter, the Cigar Collective, asked me, he's like, is it better than that much better than the Brulee? And it's like, I don't know if it's like how much better, but it is better. For me, it was way better. It was consistent from start to finish. So like it teetered on the edge of boringness because it didn't change the whole cigar. But the cigar smoked kind of quickly, but it was surprisingly like very, very good. It stayed light almost all the way till the end. When I was nubbing it, it started to get darker. And I think that's just because I was pushing it, trying to smoke the nub too much. And you start getting that hotter smoke and it gets a little bit spicy and it burns your mouth. That's normal, right? Especially the shape. It's like a double perfecto, so it starts closing at the end. So you're getting very little smoke through there. But it was a good cigar, guys. I'm telling you, like, if those of you that don't care, no, I was going to say, I think you guys should try it, but I'm not going to say that. I think I did say that in my video, though, so I loved it, but I wouldn't buy it again. If I didn't have a lot of cigars, and I probably would buy it again, but I do have a lot of good cigars I have to try still, so that's why. But I know if I ever smoke that cigar, I know I'm going to enjoy it because it was a killer cigar. Quality was great. The construction was great. Everything about it was great. Okay, next. This cigar was a killer cigar. The guys always make fun of me, and I always talk to them about like how good this cigar is and how their palates suck because they don't like the cigar. And they suck, but this cigar is the Romacraft Sabertooth. Right? The Sabertooth is a freaking killer cigar. For me, that cigar was so good. That cigar is on the darker side. Very little pepper, but from the first light up, I started getting charred marshmallow sweetness. Just boom, the whole time. Boom, boom, boom. Then it transitioned into like molasses sweetness and like a darker type of sweetness, like a espresso kind of note, but with a touch of sweetness in the end. That cigar was my number one for a long time. For a very long time, that cigar was my number one. And it's not a crazy expensive cigar, right? It's like 20 bucks or something, $24. But the issue is finding them because they are pretty limited. They are limited edition, so they are hard to find. If you do see them, I recommend buying them because I think they are very good. A lot of people don't like them though. So maybe, you know, like I said, don't listen to me for what you should buy, please. Because I don't know if you'll like that cigar. So I did a video on that cigar as well, the Sabertooth. I recommend you guys check it out because I really, that cigar to me was such a freaking good cigar, guys. I have a few more of them and I'm so glad I have them because I know that I will continue to enjoy those cigars for at least 2 more times. I think I have 2 more. Very happy about that cigar, man. I love that cigar. I love Romacraft in general. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit biased and maybe that's why I like that cigar so much because of that reason, because it is Romacraft. But man, that cigar was a killer cigar, guys. Okay, next is another cigar that I don't have, but Another cigar that I freaking loved when I smoked it. I actually have a video on this one too. And that is the Opus X 20th anniversary. This cigar was really, really good, guys. Another lighter cigar, for me, mentally, it was like on the lighter side. I know they say that Opuses are kind of punchier, but this one was not. This one was very smooth, very calm, very nice, very more on the lighter side. Like I could almost retrohale the whole draw without getting like any type of sinus irritation. Once I got past like into the second, third, then it started getting a little bit darker, but that was like a crescendo cigar as well, right? Started off good and just got better and better and better. And then towards the end, then it kind of died down. I do remember that, but that's why I think maybe the Unicorn would be higher. These are not in order because I go back and forth which one should be up there, but this one didn't really dip down. The Unicorn didn't really dip the whole way through. The whole way through it didn't dip, you guys. For me, right? For $100 it better not, right? So is it worth it? Like no cigar is worth $100, you guys, but worth the experience. That's when I think the Opus 20th is again another cigar that's kind of tough to get. So I would recommend if you find it, you've always wanted to try it, maybe pick one up just to see if it's not going to hurt you to try it, to spend that money. But again, it is kind of tough to spend money on a cigar like that because it is a pretty pricey cigar. Especially the Vitola that I smoked was the God's Whisper, which like everybody that has smoked that cigar seems to say good things about it, guys. So I think it's a good cigar, you know. All right, and this one for sure is my number one. And I have to thank Eric for this. Eric Tran, smoke one if you have one. I have to thank my boy because he sent me the cigar and I fell in love with it. And this is the Plasencia Etefel. Man, this cigar, I don't have words to express how much I love this cigar. I like this one more than the $100 Unicorn. This one's $65, so it's not a bargain, right? Like, it's still pricey. And you can't really find these anymore. People have been, ever since like we've been talking about them in the Legion, more people have been kind of talking about, have been looking for them, and they've been finding them here and there. But that cigar was such a good cigar, you guys. I freaking love that cigar. I got the strangest note from that cigar, and I can't really pick up flavor notes. So sometimes I will mention what I pick up, and it's always marshmallow sweetness, molasses sweetness, because when I taste that type of sweetness, a lot of cigars have it, and it's similar, and I always think of the same thing. I always think of roasted marshmallows or charred marshmallows. That's kind of where my head goes. But that Plasencia Etefel gave me like a bubble gum that has lost its flavor. Like when you're chewing on a gum that's just a traditional pink bubblegum flavor, but it's kind of ran out of flavor, but you still like you chew it and you still have that note, like that I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I got from the Etefel. And everybody that smokes it says it's really good. Well, not everybody. A lot of people now that I've been talking to just like it. A lot of the new wave guys didn't like it too much. But I am really looking forward to smoking that cigar again. I sought that cigar out so much. I was only able to find a very small number of them. I was supposed to send them out to some people, but honestly, when I only found a couple, I couldn't send them out because it's like that cigar is such a good cigar that I got greedy, guys, and I'm sorry because that cigar is a killer freaking cigar. And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's going to be the list. Now, another thing I actually forgot to add, and this one I remember really enjoying it as well, was the Plasencia Year of the Tiger. The Plasencia Year of the Tiger was a freaking good cigar as well. I don't know how it ranks on there, but it would definitely be in the top 5. I don't think this is not a top 10 list. This is not anything like that. I'm going to name it what I had said earlier, my most memorable cigars of the year. Because really that's what they are. They're not, they're not my recommendations for everybody to go try. They're not like anything of that sort. They're just the cigars that are the most memorable to me for the last year. And it's those. And I'm lucky to say, because like I mentioned, the beginning of the year, spending that like $50 on the Atabey was for me a crazy expense that was not justified, that I felt so guilty for buying it. And I've been lucky to say that over the past year and the past few months, I have been introduced to like higher end cigars. Thanks a lot to a lot of the friends that I have. Smoke one if you have one. Peter the Cigar Collective, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin, the Felipe Cigar Side Chats, you know, Crazy Gringo Cigars. A lot of these people, Tip Top Smoke has sent me some stuff, like Cigar Hound Dog, Master Ash. Like a lot of people have sent me really good cigars that have kind of leveled me up in experience to where now I kind of like those cigars more. And maybe it's a good and bad thing, because now I want to try a lot of this stuff. So I've been peeking into spending. I've been kind of testing the waters out, a little bit pricier and pricier cigars. And I can't say it's been bad, because I've enjoyed a lot of them. A lot of them have been great. Not all of them, but a lot of them have been great. And they've given me very memorable, very, very memorable experiences. And my video is going to cut out right now. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I talked for 30 minutes straight. That's crazy, but all right, guys, thank you. I hope nobody goes and takes this as a list that you're supposed to go buy. And like I'm telling you to go try these, because I'm not. I'm just telling you what cigars were best for me over the last year, all right? All right, guys, thank you. Thank you for watching. Sorry about the long video. See you guys on the next one, all right?